Chosen one, listen carefully. Heaven is speaking to you tonight. The winds of the divine are stirring in the unseen realm, and your name is being whispered in the eternal chambers. This moment is not by chance. December 5th is not just another date on the calendar. It is a divine appointment, a sacred invitation that has been placed before you. What happens on this day will shape the course of your future, unlocking what God has been waiting to release into your hands. You have been feeling it, the restlessness, the quiet stillness that surrounds you, the sense that time itself is holding its breath. This is not a coincidence. Heaven has pressed pause just for you. Every chosen one experiences this divine pull before a major shift. The distractions around you will increase, and doubts may try to creep in. But deep inside, you will feel it, a stirring in your spirit, like the tension of a string that is ready to be struck by heaven's hand. You are that instrument, chosen and prepared for a sound that will reverberate through the corridors of your destiny. God has been preparing you for this moment. All the struggles, the heartaches, the waiting. It hasn't been in vain. It hasn't been punishment. It's been positioning. Every tear that fell was counted. Every door that closed was protection. You've walked through seasons that would have caused others to give up, but you stood firm, and now heaven is calling you to attention. Be alert, the Spirit whispers. December 5th is your turning point. As Jesus said in the Gospel of Matthew, keep watch, for you do not know on what day your Lord will come. Matthew 24, verse 42. This is not just about prophecy, it's about obedience. Many may mock your faith, ridicule your seriousness, but the Spirit within you knows that timing matters. Heaven moves in appointed moments, not in random seconds. On December 5th, a door of release will swing open, but not everyone will walk through it. Those who dismiss this message will miss what was meant to crown them. However, those who honor it will feel heaven's breath breathe new life into everything that seemed delayed. Separate yourself from distractions, the Spirit urges. Turn off what numbs your focus and stop listening to voices that pull you away from prayer in the coming days. Guard your environment as if it holds the key to your breakthrough, because it does. Heaven cannot pour into a vessel already full of distractions. Empty yourself so that God can fill you. This message found you not by accident, not by algorithm, but by divine alignment. Heaven sees your struggles, your sacrifices, and it knows that the very thing you almost gave up on is the thing that heaven is about to resurrect. You've been asking, God. When the answer is closer than you think, you stand on holy ground, chosen one, and the atmosphere around you is shifting. Angels have been dispatched with new instructions, and the old season is closing like the final page of a tired book. The next chapter is sealed, waiting for your obedience to unlock it. Do not delay. Do not procrastinate. Heaven measures obedience by response time. What you decide in the days leading up to December 5th will echo for years to come. Some promises wait for years for just one yes. Will you say yes now, yes to trust, yes to holiness, yes to readiness? You are not alone in this awakening. A remnant is rising across nations, all hearing the same whisper from heaven, prepare. God is moving quietly but powerfully, like a fire that spreads unseen, igniting the hearts of those who are listening. You are one of them. The world may not understand this, but the Spirit within you recognizes the sound. It's the same sound that Elijah heard before the rain came, the same stillness that carried the promise of deliverance. So rise now, lift your heart. Let your faith speak louder than your fear. Speak it softly if you must, but say it, I am ready. Because heaven hears every declaration made from a surrendered heart. When you declare your readiness, angels take their positions. When you obey, heaven opens its gates. If this message resonates deep within you, don't ignore it. Share it, because there are others who need to hear this too. Your obedience could be the light that leads someone else to their own awakening. Like and share this message, not for the numbers, but as a prophetic act of spreading warning before the moment arrives. Before this prophetic word closes, make your mark in the comments. Type the number 777, the number of divine completion and covenant. If you are declaring, "Lord, I hear you, and I will not miss what you are about to do." This is your confirmation. December 5th is approaching. Heaven is watching. Step into alignment now. Let every heartbeat between this moment and that day be an act of worship. As Proverbs 3 verse 5 to 6 reminds us, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Now is the time to trust in his timing and step forward in faith, for your destiny is calling, chosen one. Everything around you may seem like it's standing still, but trust that something incredible is happening right now. You can feel it, can't you? That deep, quiet moment before dawn, when time itself feels like it's been gently paused by the hand of heaven. It's not that things are delayed, but rather that they are being divinely orchestrated for something even greater. Heaven is pressing pause, not to keep you waiting, but to align the next chapter of your life perfectly. You might find yourself wondering why doors that once opened easily now seem shut, or why the paths you've walked before no longer lead to the same places. Don't worry. This is not rejection. It's redirection. God is shifting your coordinates and removing what doesn't belong in your life, so that when your season finally arrives, nothing and no one can take it away from you. This stillness isn't a punishment, but a divine sanctuary. It's where the most powerful work happens in your life. Though you may not see the immediate progress, know that you are in the construction zone of your destiny. Just like a seed buried under the soil, growth is happening where your eyes can't yet see it. So don't confuse stillness with stagnation. This pause is your preparation for what's next. In this stillness, heaven is teaching you to see beyond what your natural eyes can perceive. The distractions, the noise, the rush of life that once drowned out God's whisper have been silenced. Now, you are learning to hear in ways you never have before, to sense the timing of heaven, to feel when God breathes his purpose into motion. Every moment in this pause is shaping your strength and endurance. It's like gold passing through fire. The heat may be intense, but it is refining you to reveal your true brilliance. You are being stretched, purified, and made unshakable for the incredible things that lie ahead. And when the new season comes, you won't just survive, you'll thrive, you'll govern it. The words spoken by the prophet Jeremiah in chapter 29, verse 11, resonate today. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and give you a hope and a future. These aren't just ancient words. They are alive today, breathing life into anyone who feels forgotten or overlooked by heaven. The truth is, God has never forgotten you. You were written into his divine timeline long before you took your first breath. Every delay, every detour, every time you questioned your purpose, God saw it long before it came to pass, and his plan has never wavered. Sometimes, heaven slows the pace down so that your faith can mature. If you received everything too soon, you might mistake blessings for convenience or miracles for accidents. But when you are made to wait, your roots grow deeper. You learn to trust not just in the outcome, but in God's guidance every step of the way. Can you see the bigger picture now? Can you feel the divine work being done in your life right now, even when it seems like nothing is happening? This is your season of preparation. Your trust is being strengthened, your character is being refined, and your spirit is being aligned with God's perfect plan. As you embrace the stillness, remember it's not just a time of waiting, it's a time of growing, refining, and becoming the person you were always meant to be. Don't rush through it, but surrender to the process. Trust that when the time is right, the doors will open in ways you never imagined. And when that moment comes, you won't just walk through them. You'll walk through them with purpose, strength, and the full backing of heaven. The lesson here is simple. Trust the timing of God. Embrace the pause, knowing that it's leading you to the best version of your life. God's plans for you are bigger, better, and more beautiful than anything you could have imagined on your own. Keep your faith steady, because your breakthrough is just around the corner. The weight you've been carrying lately isn't punishment, it's prophecy. I know it feels heavy, but trust me when I say that heaven has been preparing you in secret, while the world misunderstood you in public. What seemed like loss, heartbreak, and setbacks were actually God quietly rearranging your life to bring you to a place of revelation. Every sleepless night, every prayer that seemed unanswered, every trial that made you question your faith, these weren't signs of defeat. They were all part of the setup for your breakthrough. You might be thinking, why is this happening to me? But the truth is, you're not being broken, you're being revealed. The pressure you're feeling right now, that strange restlessness deep in your chest that you can't quite explain, it's not anxiety, it's awakening. It's the sound of your spirit coming alive because heaven is close to moving in your life. You might feel a pull, a longing for something you can't name. But trust me when I say that it's not a bad thing. It's the pressure before the breakthrough. And though it feels unbearable, it's proof that something powerful is about to happen. You see, the closer the breakthrough, the louder the warfare, the resistance you're facing right now, it's not just a coincidence. It's trying to stop what is about to be reborn in your life. But don't be discouraged by the struggle, because it's a sign that delivery is near. I want you to really take this in. In the Apostle Paul's letter to the Corinthians, in chapter 4, verse 17, he writes, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." These words are speaking to you right now, directly to your situation. Every tear you've shed, every hardship you've endured, it's all contributing to the glory that is coming. Every moment of silence, of feeling overlooked, is shaping the song of victory you will one day sing. You may not understand it all in the moment, but heaven is multiplying the meaning behind your suffering. God doesn't waste your pain. He turns it into purpose. So, when you feel like giving up, when you feel overwhelmed, remember that everything you're going through is leading to something greater. Have you ever wondered why certain battles seem to last longer than others? Could it be that they're not just trials, but divine preparations for something more than you can imagine? Remember, even when the journey feels unbearable, it's often in those moments that the greatest blessings are on the horizon. So don't let the pressure fool you. It's not a sign of defeat. It's a sign that something powerful is being birthed in you. God is not done with you yet, and what He's about to give you is far greater than anything you've lost. Have you ever felt like you were just about to break, but somehow you didn't? You've been facing pressure that seemed unbearable, and you've questioned why it's happening. You've asked yourself, why is this happening to me? What have I done wrong? But what if I told you that you're not being punished? What if I told you that everything you've been through, the sleepless nights, the tears, the moments where it felt like you were walking alone, was all part of a bigger plan. A plan that's about to unfold in a way you could never have imagined. The pain, the heartache, and the challenges you've experienced were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to build you. I know it's hard to see that when you're in the midst of the struggle. In fact, it often feels like the walls are closing in, and you can't breathe. It feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and there's no escape. But I promise you, it's in these moments that God is doing His greatest work in you. Think about it. Every person who has ever achieved something great, every person who has ever overcome the odds, has had to endure a season of struggle. No one gets to their breakthrough without first walking through the fire. And you, my friend, are no different. God is preparing you for something bigger than you can imagine. And sometimes, that preparation requires going through things that feel like they're breaking you. But remember, it's not about breaking you. It's about refining you. It's about shaping you into the person who can handle the blessing that is coming your way. Let's take a moment to reflect on what it truly means to go through a season of testing. Have you ever stopped to think about how diamonds are made? They're formed under intense pressure, in darkness, and over time, they go through a process that, to the outside world, seems harsh and unyielding. But when the process is complete, what emerges is something beautiful, something rare, and something highly valuable. That's exactly what God is doing in your life right now. He's shaping you into something beautiful, something valuable, but it requires you to endure the pressure and the heat. Now, I know that this doesn't make the pain any easier to bear. I understand that when you're in the middle of your struggle, it can feel like you're drowning. But I want to remind you of something important. You are not alone. Even when you can't feel God's presence, He is right there with you, walking through the fire beside you. In fact, He's carrying you through it, even when you don't realize it. The Bible says in Isaiah 43 verse 2, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." This is a promise from God Himself. He will never leave you, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. You see, this is where faith comes in. Faith is not about having everything figured out. Faith is not about understanding the plan or knowing how things will unfold. Faith is about trusting that God knows what He's doing, even when you can't see it. It's about believing that He's working behind the scenes, even when you're in the middle of your struggle. And let me tell you, when you trust God in the darkest moments, that's when you experience His power in the most incredible way. But I also want to challenge you with this. What if the pressure you're feeling right now isn't just for your own benefit? What if it's part of a bigger plan? A plan that involves not only you, but also those around you. Think about the people who are watching you. Think about your family, your friends, your co-workers. They may not be able to see what God is doing in your life, but they are watching you. They are watching how you respond to adversity, how you react when things don't go as planned. And here's the thing. Your response to your struggle is a testimony to them. When they see you enduring with grace, when they see you trusting God even in the hardest moments, they'll be drawn to Him. Your breakthrough could very well be the thing that inspires someone else to step into their own relationship with God. Have you ever considered that the very thing that feels like it's holding you back might be the thing that pushes someone else forward? Maybe the struggles you've faced are meant to equip you to help someone else who is going through something similar. Maybe your pain is part of God's plan to bring healing to others. That's the beauty of God's design. He takes our brokenness and uses it to bring glory to Himself and to help others. So when you feel like giving up, Remember that you're not just fighting for yourself. You're fighting for the people around you who need to see your strength, your faith, and your resilience. I want you to think about your future for a moment. What if, just around the corner, there's a breakthrough waiting for you that is going to change everything? What if the very thing you've been praying for is on its way, but you need to hang on just a little longer? Think about how many times in life we're so close to our breakthrough, but we give up right before it happens. How many dreams have been abandoned because the person didn't realize they were on the brink of something incredible? Don't let that be you. You are closer to your breakthrough than you think. The Bible also says in Galatians 6 verse 9, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." This verse is a reminder that your effort, your perseverance, and your faithfulness will eventually pay off. At the right time, when God's timing is perfect, you will reap the harvest of your labor. You just have to trust that His timing is better than yours. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, know that God is at work. Even when you don't see the results yet, trust that He is moving behind the scenes to bring about something far greater than you can imagine. So, what do you do in the meantime? While you're waiting for your breakthrough, how do you stay encouraged? I want to give you a few things to hold on to as you walk through this season. First, keep praying. Prayer is your direct line to God. Even when you feel like your prayers aren't being answered, keep praying. God hears you, He sees you, and He is working on your behalf. Don't stop praying just because you don't see immediate results. God is never in a hurry, but He is always on time. Second, stay in the Word. The Bible is full of promises that can encourage and strengthen you when you feel weak. Find verses that speak to your situation and meditate on them. Let God's Word be your anchor in the storm. Third, surround yourself with people who will encourage you. It's so easy to get caught up in negative thoughts and discouragement. But you need to surround yourself with people who will lift you up, remind you of God's promises, and help you stay focused on the bigger picture. Don't isolate yourself during this time. You need a community that will walk with you through the struggle. And finally, trust God's timing. His timing may not always match yours, but it is always perfect. Don't rush the process. Trust that God is preparing you for something greater. And in the meantime, keep moving forward in faith. Remember this: what you're going through is not in vain. It may seem hard now, but God is using every moment to shape you into the person He has called you to be. Your breakthrough is coming, and when it does, it will be more than worth the wait. So, hold on. Keep pressing forward. Your story is far from over, and the best chapters are yet to be written. God is not done with you. He's just getting started. You've been through the fire, haven't you? The trials, the heartaches, the unanswered prayers, the confusion. These have been shaping you. Each moment has been a building block for what's to come. You're no longer the person you were 6 months ago. You're stronger, wiser, more resilient. But do you realize how close you are to stepping into something so much greater? How much closer you are to that breakthrough, that gift, that divine moment that God has been preparing for you? The truth is, God's timing is perfect. He's never too early and He's never too late. But sometimes, we get so caught up in our struggles, in our worries, that we miss the signs He's giving us. That's why it's crucial to pay attention to December 5th. This day is not just any day, it's a divine marker, a moment where God is about to release something significant into your life. But here's the thing, the release isn't automatic. You have a choice. You can either align with God's plan and step into the season He's opening for you, or you can ignore it, thinking it's just another day. The choice is yours. But understand this: if you ignore this moment, if you dismiss what God is doing because it seems too subtle or insignificant, you might miss out on the blessing He was about to release. Have you ever thought about how easy it is to let an opportunity slip by without even realizing it? Think about all the times in your life when you've said, "I should have taken that chance," or "I should have paid more attention when I had the chance." It happens to all of us, right? The trick is learning to recognize the moments when God is about to do something big. So, what is it about December 5th? Why is this day so significant? Well, I believe that God is about to release something powerful on that day, a divine opportunity that could set you on the path to everything you've been praying for. It might be a breakthrough in your finances, your relationships, your health, or your purpose. But you need to be ready. You need to be aligned with God's will and open to receiving whatever He's about to give you. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but how do I know if December 5th is really the day? How do I know if this is the moment God is speaking about? That's a valid question, and I'm glad you're asking it. Here's the thing: God speaks to us in many ways, through His Word, through His Spirit, through the people around us, and even through the circumstances in our lives. But there's one thing I want you to remember: when God is about to move, you'll feel it in your spirit. You'll sense the shift. It's like a spiritual tension, an awareness that something is about to break through. You may not know the exact details, but you'll know that something is happening. What is that shift you're feeling right now? Is there a stirring in your heart? Do you feel like God is drawing you closer to Him, like He's calling you to step into something new, something greater? If you do, that's the Holy Spirit working in you, preparing you for what's to come. It's time to pay attention to that, to honor that sense of urgency. But here's the challenge: we often let fear, doubt, and distractions keep us from stepping into what God has for us. We second-guess ourselves. We think, maybe it's not for me, or maybe I'm not ready yet. But if you're feeling the stirring in your spirit, let me encourage you: you're ready. You've been prepared. God has been preparing you for this moment. And if you align yourself with His timing, you won't miss it. Let's pause and reflect on this. How often do we let fear or uncertainty prevent us from stepping into what God has promised? How many times have you felt something pulling you toward a certain decision or action? But your doubts and fears kept you from moving forward. The enemy loves to use fear to keep us from the breakthroughs that are right in front of us. But the Bible tells us in 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, "For God gave us a spirit, not of fear, but of power and love and self-control." God has not given you a spirit of fear. He has equipped you with the strength, courage, and power to walk in His plan for your life. December 5th is a pivotal moment, but it's not just about the day itself. It's about the posture of your heart. Are you ready to receive what God has for you? Are you willing to let go of fear and step into your destiny? God is not going to force you to take the next step, but He is calling you. He is beckoning you to trust Him with everything in you and to take that step of faith. Remember, sometimes the greatest blessings come wrapped in packages we don't expect. Sometimes the breakthrough doesn't come in the way we envision it, but in the way God knows we need it. The key is to stay open, stay receptive, and stay in tune with God's voice. It may not always be easy, but it's always worth it. As you approach December 5th, I encourage you to spend time in prayer and reflection. Ask God to reveal His plans for you. Seek His guidance, His wisdom, and His peace. And most importantly, listen. God is speaking, and He's about to do something powerful in your life. But here's the thing. You can't just wait for December 5th and expect everything to change overnight. This is where the real work happens. You have to prepare yourself. You have to align your heart with God's will, and you have to be willing to take action when the moment comes. That might mean letting go of past hurts, forgiving those who have wronged you, or stepping into a new season of faith and trust. So, as December 5th approaches, I want you to ask yourself, what are you doing to prepare for this moment? How are you positioning yourself to receive the blessing that God is about to release? The moment you've been waiting for is close, but are you ready for it? Will you be bold enough to step into it when the opportunity comes? The warning is clear: ignoring this moment will cost you. Don't let fear, doubt, or distractions hold you back from what God is about to give you. The breakthrough is within reach, but it's up to you to step into it. This is your time. This is your season. Don't miss it.